Hello and welcome to another episode of Baz Codes. I'm your host, Baz, and today is sort of going to be about code. As you can see, I've got a good old-timey video game on the screen here, Lode Runner, absolute classic. This is worth buying an Apple II right now if you don't already own one. I'm running it in my emulator, GSSquared, of course. And the point of today's exercise is to take a look at a new feature I'm putting in the emulator. And that is exemplified by this. All right. Hopefully you all have high enough resolution on your YouTube that you can see that. That is a real-time debugger window. So what's flying by at warp speed over here is the display of a system trace. So in the system right now, I've got tracing enabled. I'll turn it off here real quick. You can see we've got some debug stuff going on here. We've got the program counter, register values, and the current cycle counter. Tracing is off, so there's no new data coming in down to the screen here. And actually, that's good. You can read it. What we have here is we capture into a buffer the most recent 100,000 instructions that the virtual Apple II has executed. So this is the most recent one. When I turned the trace off here, it was this decrement 1D. So we've got the cycle count when that instruction began execution. We've got the register values before execution of the instruction. So you can see what the state of the machine was going into the instruction. So this is a TAY here at the top. So let's see, A was 15 and Y was 1. So you'll see that after that, Y is now also 15 because we transferred A to Y. The next instruction, or the next little bit of stuff here is the program counter of that instruction, and then the raw hex values of the instruction, the disassembly of the instruction. So this is an LDA A600, Y. And then this is the effective memory address. So of course, a lot of the memory access instructions on the Apple II, the 6502, use X and Y registers for indexing from, call it a pointer. And so I thought it would be useful to know what's the actual memory address that the instruction ended up calculating that it was going to operate on. And then, rather than you having to do that in your head. And then the last column here, M, is the memory value. It was the data byte that either went out the data bus on a write or was read in the data bus on a read. So this was LDA A600, Y, and that loaded an AA from memory address A615. And you can see here on our next instruction going into it, the A register is indeed AA, which we fetched from memory. So that's the bottom line. Now I'm going to turn tracing back on. And of course, it's too fast to read, but let's just hit the space bar. Oh, now you'll notice that Lode Runner stopped. Well, hitting the space bar goes into step one instruction at a time mode. And essentially that stops execution. It waits for me to do something in the debugger. I can hit space, execute one instruction at a time. Now, when I'm in this mode, I mentioned there's 100,000 instructions. So the arrow keys will scroll up through your execution history. Scroll up or down. You've got page up and page down. I'll go a page at a time. And then if you hit the home key, it'll go to the very top, the very first instruction that's in the history buffer. Now, 100,000 may sound like a lot of instructions, but on an Apple II, with an average number of cycles per instruction of, let's say, anywhere from 3 to 5, this could be only 300 milliseconds to 500 milliseconds, a half second's worth of execution. So really not that much um, in computer terms. Anyway, so to resume execution, well, I'm paging up and down here. I've got a little scroll bar. It's hard to think about how to display that indicator when there's 100,000 lines in the buffer. A page does move at about a pixel at a time, and if I just sit here and hold on the page down, you'll see it's moving slowly. But anyway, that'll need to be a work in progress, I guess, to make that more useful. End goes to the end of the buffer. The last instruction we did was that STY. Ooh, another STY. That's interesting. Okay. What are you doing, load runner? Anyway, and return will resume execution. So there we go. Now, when we're in the, I'm going to start it, and when we're in the load runner loop, here I've started the thing. You can see that we're in a tight loop here. LDA C062, LDA C061. I forget what these are. Oh, C000, that's the keyboard. So there was nothing on the keyboard. So we're just in a tight loop checking for user input, right? And presumably we're going to do that a certain amount and then go off and update the game screen and then come back and check for user input again. So there's that. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to reboot here, and I've got show you another thing here. All right, so I've got a 00 in address 1000. That's a break, BRK instruction. So when the debugger's open and your program encounters a break, like so, it will stop execution on the break, and you'll be able to see it, what led up to it, right? So you'll be able to go, oh, well, I didn't intend for there to be a crash. And then you can scroll back through your scroll back here and see what led to it. Yeah, actually, I did intend this break, of course. So there's not much to see here other than the monitor loading up my command and jumping to address 1000. Let's see. If I hit enter, again, we'll resume execution and, get the normal results out of the ROM monitor. Here's a tight keyboard loop in, the monitor. This is the good old Apple II input routine. We're just tight looping on C000. This variable here in 4E, that is, if I'm not mistaken, part of the random number generator. So it just increments 4E and probably 4F. And it generates pseudo-random numbers based on, how long it is between key presses on the Apple II. So this is some of the way that we got things done without sophisticated hardware back in the day. Well, anyway, so there's a lot of work to do here. I was thinking about a couple of ideas, and I'd love to hear your feedback on what you think of them. So one thing would be to have a tab in here, right? So we'll have this as a tab, this display. Have another tab. Maybe that's just a memory decoder, right? You put in a memory address and see what's there. There's maybe have something that's just like the monitor, the ROM monitor, which is, interactive. Display chunks of memory, disassemble stuff. It seems like something like that could be very useful for Apple II programmers because they're already familiar with it. and that it could be very nice to have. And you know, I'd include a nice big scroll back in that tool. But let me know what else you think might be useful in a debugger. This is Greenfield, brand new piece of the project here, and I'm very interested to hear what you all would like to see. So let me know. Type in the comments below, and we'll see you, as my grandpa used to say, we'll see you in the colored funnies. That's comics. All right. Bye.